guys.
guys.
Welcome to the Phoenix Podcast. I'm Brandon McDevitt.
I'm Tiffany Pfeiffer.
And I'm Savannah Gatch. Today, we're going to be celebrating Geek Pride Day and telling you guys what some of our favorite geeky things and fandoms are.
Let's get into it. All right. So, Savannah, what are your, top 3 big fandoms?
All right.
I guess. I don't know what to classify them. You know what I mean? Like Star Wars, Star Trek, Harry Potter, those kind of things.
Yeah, so you basically just listed them. Wrong order, though. Star Wars.
Yeah.
Then Star Trek. And then Harry Potter.
Okay, so I'm going to say the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Harry Potter, and then Star Wars, but mainly in the Mandalorian section.
All right.
Sections? What?
For me. The Mandalorian series is what I mainly watch. Because, Baby Yoda.
Honestly.
Baby Yoda is adorable. Even though he's, 50 years old. It doesn't matter. Baby Yoda is adorable.
Couple centuries. Whatever. For me, it's got to be Marvel and Star Wars. That's all.
That's it? Okay.
Marvel and Star Wars.
No Star Trek?
Oh, no. What are the rings?
So I got
it. It's been rare to find a fan of both Star Wars and Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
I've always seen someone who's only liked one, but I don't like Star Trek too much. Whatever, dude.
You haven't seen the good episodes. You haven't seen the best ones.
I'm more about the Force, man. I got some drawings of the Night King of Mordor. Pretty good. I love Lord of the Rings, I guess, because it's so cool.
Yeah, I really want to see more of it. I've only seen clips.
I love the movies. Okay, Savannah, my all-time favorite scene from all 3 of the Lord of the Rings movies is when Legolas, and Gimli are fighting each other to see who can kill more time.
Yeah.
Legolas is such a cool name.
Legolas does when they say get the elephant, and then he kills this elephant, and Gimli's like, that counts as one. That is so priceless.
That is awesome. Yeah, I love that. What would you say about his name?
To elves. Huh?
Wait, say that again, Tiff?
That also brings me to elves, comparing Baby Yoda to elves, because elves age slowly. So, saying Baby Yoda is cute, even though he's technically 50 years old, people are looking at Legolas, and he could be a couple thousand years old.
Dinosaurs, swear. Old heads. So, yeah, Savannah, you say you only watched clips.
Yeah, I've only seen parts of it. I really want to see all of it.
What the heck?
I know.
Or
I want to read it,
Savannah, next time I come to your house, we're staying up all night watching Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
All of them? And The Hobbit? You got it,
and The Hobbit.
Isn't The Hobbit... Okay, I've heard terrible reviews about The Hobbit. I heard it was terrible, and they're just trying to copy that.
You're not allowed to... Savannah, there's this rule called don't judge a book by its cover. For movies, don't judge a movie by its trailer. Or clips.
No. It's just what I've heard from people that have watched it and really loved Lord of the Rings. Hobbit was terrible. Horrendous. The worst.
That ain't it. It all makes sense in the end. It all makes sense. It's like extra seasoning to the sauce,
so it's
I guess.
Harry Potter, and then when they added on when people have kids and stuff like that, and completely murdered the story like that. Except maybe not as bad.
Wait, which part are you talking about?
Don't know about Potter.
The child Harry Potter that murdered the story? Because I don't count.
No, I'm talking about
Harry Potter.
When they introduced the actual book, the 8th book that they added on. After the series, that completely trash. Don't even get me started. Sometimes, like, if you watch all of Harry Potter, and then J.K. Rowling tried to include some fan fiction and just kind of, like, tie everything together, but it didn't really tie together well, and she tried to make, like, an extra book with it. And I think there was a movie, too.
It's this book we're talking about, guys. It is trash.
Yeah.
I hate it. I do not count this as part of Harry Potter, and I wish I
Neither do
didn't
I.
spend my money on it. I wish I waited for the library to get it, because I regret buying this book.
I mean, it's just, like...
Shout out to J.K.
Money
Rowling.
on this. I could use it on, like, getting the second Lord of the Rings book instead of that thing.
Woohoo! That is cheated.
Okay, I have a question. Should I read the books first, or just go ahead and watch the movies? Are the books really that much better?
I didn't read the books.
Okay, so when it comes to books, I must warn you. Alright, so here, let me grab...
The movies are cool. I like the movies. I haven't bought the books.
So I have Hobbit.
Look how chunky that book is.
It is
Not as
tiny.
thick as Harry Potter.
But alright, so in the Fellowship of the Ring, that's the first movie.
Holy.
And I'm gonna say, I think the story all overall is great, but have any of you guys read, like, you know, the Christmas Carol, like the story, and when it was
Hallmark,
originally written, the original book of the Christmas Carol that I was forced to read in 8th grade. I don't know if you guys were,
Uncultured.
but I was forced to read it. That's
No.
It's very old writing. Like these people are from the he wrote
Like Jesus time?
Jesus time. Accurate timekeeping skills. A bird just flew at my window. Not at it, but it was like, dude, did you see me get scared? Oh my god.
It's coming after you, Brandon.
If you have a simplistic mind, you will not be able to read that book. Just saying. Simplistic mind will
we know
not
who
be able
doesn't
to read
have one. Samsung gang.
Samsung gang, let's get it. Yeah.
If you gotta, cause like poetry, when you read like the older poetry, that's kind of how the book is written, but it's not poetry, it's a story.
I don't like old poetry.
Okay, there's some author.
So wait,
Tiffany.
Overall, are you pro book or pro movie? Which one? Are you just saying, both have their strengths and weaknesses?
I think they both have their strengths and weaknesses. Like, I will point out the weaknesses is how the book is written. So the book was written in like the early 1900s.
Oh,
so writing style is much different than it is modern or modern day writing, in my opinion. And so personally, it's easier to understand the movie. But if, say, once I get out of college and I understand that writing style better, I'd probably go for the books. It all depends on what you like in writing style.
Right.
Okay.
Savannah, what were you saying?
Sorry, Savannah. And
no, you're fine.
Oh, you're good. We all good.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, hold up. I haven't done anything but play Apex today, so we're a little slow. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
So Savannah,
I don't really remember.
the Hobbit.
I know. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so I have like read books. I have like read books that are like stories written as poetry, but it's basically like they wrote a book, then they went back through and put it in stanzas and was like poetry, like none of it rhymes or anything like that.
Does that count?
It still counts because it's like, no, what's that?
Poetry?
Yeah, it's like free writing, or like it starts with the H.
Yeah, free writing.
Yeah.
Oh.
That stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
write
what?
poetry.
What? And
That
they,
didn't count.
I got a question.
it did, yeah.
So say, I question free writing poetry if that should even be part of poetry, in my
I
opinion.
agree.
For real.
Like, seriously.
Ruins
I
a
have
poetry.
teachers who sit there and say, oh, you have to write us a poem. Oh, yeah, by the way, free writing poetry isn't included. Like, so many teachers say, oh, you can't use free write poetry for making a poem in this class.
I
But they
think
teach us what it is.
I think that poetry isn't as popular now. So I think that having like a free form of poetry for people to just write words down in this format and it's poetry, I feel like it helps poetry stay a little more relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I see you in that, yeah, for sure. I feel like it, kind of ruins the whole meaning of a poem. You got Shakespeare writing these not whack. If you're English person, then you're gonna think, oh, how dare you? But it rhymes and stuff. That's the whole point. And for you just, the day was blue. I was almost gonna rhyme right there. It was pretty okay. Like, that's not, poems are like really condensed books because you got to unlock them and stuff. For you to free write, I'm like, I don't know, man. And sometimes free writing could be cool, I guess, but some people just write words and expect it to be up there with Pac. I'm just like, mm.
I think that like if you look back at like some older forms of poetry and stuff, they're like really like you have to take the time to understand them. You can't just read it once and be like, I got it, unless you're like a magician with words. But
Yeah,
like so my thing is like when you have like some of this newer poetry that's like super straightforward, we've kind of cut out the symbolism and the metaphors that we used to use, and I think it's become not as it doesn't take an intellectual gift to like write a poem anymore. It's anybody
I
can
feel
do
you.
it. And I think poetry is trying to include more people because there are so few that like it or are good at it or like seek it out anymore,
Right.
which is unfortunate. But
Sure. I think it was delivered to like students really harshly. Like, you have to find. It's like, okay, we not a lot of us can relate to like a really old guy in his, smoking a pipe in his leather chair, and it was delivered wrong. Honest Savannah's debating her family.
So, Savannah, on how you explained like poetry and how you can't just read over it once and then go, oh, I understand it completely. That's kind of the way I was trying to explain Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. You can't just read over a sentence and then go, oh, bam, I understand exactly what's going
True.
on here. Because
I see.
it makes you think while you read it. And if in a way, but in a fun way, not it's a type,
Mm,
the school type of thinking in a way that you want to
right.
figure out what's going on.
I think that like movies, like now that we have like film and stuff like that, have kind of replaced poetry in a way. Like instead of like you having to figure out the action that somebody's doing, it's just presented to you willingly, freely. Like it's not. Nobody's really seeking for a complicated thing to do anymore. It's as I
Yeah.
said, simplistic. Like people are going back to like, how easy can we make our lives? Oh, by the way, we got 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we need. We're all good. We all good.
Yeah.
It kind of also makes me think. There's only certain movies that like majority of the movies are just straightforward, and but there are some movies that you have such complex characters playing, being in the movie, that sometimes the things that the actors make them say and stuff have double meanings to them.
Right.
But
Like Shrek.
yeah, like
Shrek.
that. It takes us nerds who have, it takes someone who isn't as simplistic and that is more complicated, to understand them because they understand, well, one, I did this because of this, but two, I did this
Right.
for a total other reason. And that's kind of where I feel like Marvel and like any of these fandoms, where you have these fandoms and stuff, because we get with the books, we get to know these characters, and then we see them on screen, and the director may be thinking something completely different than what we were. So one, we see these actions that happen, that the actors, that some of them being a part of the fandom, they're doing what the director says, but they add another meaning to it.
Right.
So, all right. So, everybody likes Star Wars. What's your favorite movie out of Star Wars?
That is hard.
Yeah. For sure. I agree with
4.
I'm going to go for...
Yeah, 4. We going 4.
All right.
It was so golden. What about you guys?
Han Solo. It's just, I don't know, man. Something about Han Solo.
I didn't even watch that movie. I was like, that's just trash.
How
I didn't get to see it. All right, everyone, chill out. Is it
didn't
on Disney
get to
Plus?
see it?
Is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah,
Then
it's free.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, you better.
Whatever. No matter.
I don't know about that.
Favorite movie? Not movie. Favorite Star Wars movie.
All right, wait. So Savannah says Han Solo. Wait, we're talking about movies or characters?
No, Han Solo, the story. Han Solo story. Or Solo, not Han Solo. They're Solo.
Solo, okay. It was about Han Solo.
Excuse me, because that's a character, but I don't remember there being a movie called Han Solo.
Okay, there was like Solo, like
Savannah's all
a
messed
story. Listen, I'm
was,
on the next level.
You're adding prefixes.
Yeah.
The favorite Star Wars movie. What's it? What number? Or what? Yeah, I don't know.
What movie?
Episode.
Yeah, like tell us the title or the number. Yeah.
Bro, prequels. Anything above 7. 1, 2, 3. Jeez, what number? 7, I think.
Anything above 7?
I hated everything above 7, or I did not like 7, 8, 9, and then the other one. But 4, 5, 6 were very good. 1, 2, 3 were decent, and 7 it was like 8, 9.
The most recent one wasn't bad.
It wasn't good.
There was a lot of plot twists. It wasn't the best.
Here's the thing. My brother, he loves film and is very, this is how films should work. And I'm not saying, well, here's JJ directed one of the movies, and then someone directed the next one. So JJ killed off Snoke, and then JJ made a new character called Snoke, and then the new guy, Ryan Howard, killed him. Why? And then JJ got the movie back, and he's like, "You ruined my, whole movie." Now he had to do all of this to tie everything back together to basically finish the Star Wars saga, and hands down to him, because that was a whole lot of mess.
I mean,
Ryan,
for what he had to fix, he did a pretty good job with it. By the way, we're running out of time. But
like
I will say,
4.
The movies, right?
3.
The way with Star Wars Downfall and stuff was explained to me is you got the first, like the first three movies that came out, like the first movies that came out, not the. I think 1, 2, 3 came out after 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
So you had 4, 5, 6. I think I like them better. I think they're up at the top favorites because you understand more. Like the storyline was amazing, and then 1, 2, 3 are good. Their graphics are so much better than 4, 5, 6 because it's later when movie and filming technology was so much better,
Right.
and they knew. And the directors didn't have to work as hard with the storyline because they already knew whatever happens is leading up to this. And we already have a little bit of backstory of what's supposed to happen in these movies.
All
and
right,
then the
we might
next
have to
one,
close it out.
The way my dad explained it is, one of the directors decided, you know what, we're not using any fan fiction whatsoever, and we're gonna do it this way, and that's not allowed. And then now, with Mandalorian coming out, this different director is Mandalorian is based off of a couple of the fan fictions that were created, not completely, but they use some of the elements from there.
All right,
Right.
I'm gonna warn you, we got less than a minute, so before it kicks
Alright,
us out.
But yeah, that's
I
my
agree
thought.
with Tiff.
So I think
Let's close it out.
that's why these newer movies aren't as great, but hopefully that director that did Mandalorian does the next couple of movies, in my opinion, because they did such a great job.
All right.
She did amazing.
All right, well, that was
we'll
fun and
close on
happy
that.
Geek Day, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to the Fandoms podcast. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss out on a new episode. Thanks for watching.